Welcome to today's webinar, a tea break webinar on data structure. We hope you're not missing us too much with the bi-weekly schedule now, but we're continuing to make great little webinars for you that you can look back after as we send the recordings to you, and the slides are also available to you in the email. Today it's by me, Olivia and Lyndsey helped us. So yeah, there we go. So today's agenda for our webinar is why it's so important to have your clean data neat and tidy. How you can use both Flourish and Excel, either Google Sheets, Microsoft Excel, and whatever program you use to quickly clean your data, because I don't think some people realise just how useful Flourish is to use. I'm just going to double check that we're recording. Yes, we are. Perfect. Right, so data structure, the importance of it. Data is like a treasure trove. It sounds very cliche, but it's true. Oh, 1 second. The chat. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, so it's like a treasure trove. Large data sets, they can have hundreds of stories within them, and you may not even realise if the data is messy. It doesn't matter how new or experienced a data viz you are, a messy data set, it can be an eyesore and a headache. I know personally, if I need to do a few things, if I want to look into the stories, I need to do a few things to the data, just so I can really understand it and really get the stories from it and make sure that I'm doing it accurately. That's why data structure and organisation is so important. With having a good clean data structure, it can improve your understanding of what chart types to use, the data you want to use to convey the story, everything like that. And with messy data or rushing to clean it, this can also lead to inequalities in your data if you misinterpret it. So you could copy wrong cells over or values and a whole host of other issues. All in all, a clean data structure will make your life a lot easier. And Alberto Caro, who is one of my favourite data visualisationists, said it best. Information graphics should be aesthetically pleasing, but many designers think about aesthetics before they think about the structure, about the information itself, and about the story the graphic should tell. So all in all, data visualization comes down to the values, the numbers you want, and the content. Without good data, you will most likely have a mediocre visualization without much meaning and without any direction in how you want to visualize it. So I'm going to begin with how to clean and structure your data with Flourish. So first off, we're going to begin with unpivoting, which is something that I've pretty much just learned about. 1 second. So wide formats, I'll just go from here. Flourish has a very helpful combine column or unpivot your data option, and I will show an example of how to do it in a moment. It allows you to reshape your data by combining multiple columns into one, containing the original column header and the other containing value. So if you have a year per column, but you really want one date column with all the years in. So it's called from going a wide format to a long format. You may want to use wide formats in some of the templates, such as the bar chart brace template that we have, but long formats can be great for line charts if you want to show a progression over time. So with unpivoting, you can. Right, so we'll start here. Let me know if you can still see my screen. I hope you can. So to unpivot, I am going to just put all of these values into my column binding. So I'm going to go B to Y. There we go. And I want all of these years to be in one column. So I'm going to grab all of these columns, right click and press combine columns, unpivot. And now here it will say include rows for empty cells. This can be quite a useful situation. For example, if you are doing if you have a wide format, because sometimes these can not include data and it might just have a null cell. So you might want to use that. And sort rows to follow order of original headers. This is really useful because it will go within the year rather than alphabetically or whatever hierarchy you used for your countries. I'm just going to leave it like, actually no, I'm going to sort it by year and then I'm going to confirm that. And there we go. It has changed it from B to Y to just, 1 second. think it was a lot of data for it to hold. It's just frozen. There we go. B to D, and we don't need B to Y anymore. There are a lot more rows now, but that's fine, because if we was to put this into a bar chart race, it would work. If we was put into line graph, for example, if I, it's froze, never mind. But yeah, you can see the use of, you can see the use of unpivoting. It's very useful if you want to put years or whatever long formatted and wide formatted data into one column. The next useful tip is merging. In Flourish, we have an option where you can upload your data and merge. This can be really useful, for example, if you want to bring in 2 sheets from an Excel file. For example, me and Lyndsey looked at imports and exports annually. And so I kind of want to bring in the annual import and the annual export, but I don't want to do that in Excel. I want to just do it in Flourish because this is where I'm going to visualize it. So, 1 second. The little zoom bar came down and found it hard to see. So merge data. So here I have I'm just going to upload my data as I would. So if this is example data, for example, so I'm going to upload my data file and I'm going to include the annual export. I cleaned this beforehand. I'll just show you how the original data looked in a moment. It wasn't much different to this. I just pretty much cut out some blank space. So here is my imports or exports, whichever one I imported just. And I now want to import the other one. So I'm going to click that little drop down box there and click upload data and merge. You can do this with a number of files, so you can use CSV, TSV, JSON and GeoJSONs. So I'm guessing I did export, so I'm going to import imports. And then this little box will pop up where you are going to want to match the common values that you have within this data set. This is really useful at the moment because we've got it from the same data set. It's going to have similar columns. However, if you were to, for example, bring in data for a longer latitude, for example, into one of our projection maps, this is where it can kind of get a bit more difficult because some of the country names may be a bit different, but I can show an example of that in a moment. So I'm just going to check. Yeah, I'm going to just do it by the country abbreviation, the iOS 2, and then I'm going to merge it. And perfect, it said 237 rows were uploaded. And now if I move across here, that's my next piece of data. I can then clean this up a lot easier by once again doing that unpivot situation, or I may just want to create a column, which I will show you in a moment because I know that is one of my next slides. See? Easy? Yeah, perfect. I'll just quickly show you how I cleaned up this data. So this is how the original data looked, and I copied and pasted all of this data here, and I'll just put it into another sheet. However, you can upload data like this into Flourish, and I will show an example of that now. So if I download this as a, download as a CSV, there we go. And I will do it in the add column because I'm going to use the merge data. Happily, my MacBook has just arrived that I've bought, so we won't have to deal with this slowness anymore. 1 second. There we go. So you can drag and drop your data. Apparently you can't. There we go. Yeah, you can drag and drop, and you can choose to overwrite or merge just like we did up here. So there's just 2 different ways to do it. So I'm going to just overwrite it. There we go. Perfect. And you'll just see that it's pretty much the same. I'm just going to delete these rows just by right-clicking and then doing that again. And you will notice it oddly has this European Union, and then when you scroll down the extra EU of the world, I just pretty much put the totals at the bottom and then just cut those empty rows out, Right, so we'll go on to new columns for categorizing. So adding new columns can be really, really useful if you want to colour by category, or if you want to kind of, for example, in this GIF here, I added regions to our data. And to do that in Flourish, it's very, very simple. I'll do it in the merge data. You will want to right click on whatever cell, on whatever column, sorry, where you want to either insert it left or right. I'm going to put it to the left, and then I can put this as region, for example. And then if I had regions, I would be able to copy those into here and possibly merge it. If I had that data sheet, if I had the regions with the countries, I could easily just copy that into there and merge it. Because once you have those, for example, if I put Europe, and then if I put here we go, Africa, I can put row filter C, and then that will colour into a different colour, showing that that's the row filter that we want to use. And then up here we have a little filter series where rows that are aligned with that region, that column filter, it will pop up in our little series box. And there's different ways that you can show that. You can multi-select, so people can choose, oh, maybe not. Oh, because you can have multiple, yes. So if you wanted to include multiple columns, I've realised I've just deleted one, but that's fine, that's fine. If I wanted to include, for example, ranking, I'm pretty sure I can put 2 of them. Oh no, okay, I'm not sure why I did that then. Anyway, just ignore me. There we go. So yeah, that is how you add a new column. And another really, really useful tip, if you kind of want to show your data in a different way, if you feel that the data isn't showing what you want it to show or convey, you can easily switch the columns and rows. So to do this, all you would do, so I will use this merged one. I'm just going to delete that. I'll leave the region one. You will press this little arrow, 2 arrows up here in the top left of your data table, and you will just click swap rows and columns, and now the countries will be on the top and the years will be on the bottom. And this is really useful in the line, bar and pie template, because it can really just transform your data as it will make it appear differently. Okay. Oh yeah, and the column bindings may need to be adjusted once you've done this. Like for example, we have a lot of columns now, so you will just want to adjust it accordingly to that. Okay. Right, now we're going to go on to how to clean and structure your data with Excel. So one of my highly spoke about kind of functions in Excel is the VLookup. I live by this pretty much in Excel. It's really useful for if you want to find long and latitudes from countries, for example, if you wanted to find regions for countries. I kind of use the example of countries and long and lats quite often, just because that is a template that I love the most. I love creating maps and stuff, so that's why I use that example a lot. But you can also get names from it, anything like that. So I will show you an example of how to do that. So I'm going to use one of the versions that for example, I've already done it here, but I will do it again. I'm just going to get one of the clean versions. So I'll do this clean import here. Perfect. So what I'm going to do is very similar to Flourish. I use Google Sheets, but I'm pretty sure Excel will have the same functionality, just a bit different. So I'm going to insert a column to the left, and I'm going to title this region. And from here, I want to type in the function, which is VLookup. Always put a equal sign at the beginning to show that you're wanting to create a function. Open your brackets up, and I want to find the region of Austria. I'm going to do it for all of them, but we'll just do the one for now. I want to find the region for Austria. So this is the value that I want to find. So I'm going to put that and then a comma. And have I got regions? Yes, perfect. Then I'm going to switch to my regions tab. You can import, you can copy and paste. For example, I did long and lats. I just copied this off of Google. Google have a really good, I'll just get it up quickly. Don't know why I'm all in caps, I'm not shouting it. There we go. And the developers Google, the dataset publishing, I just copied and pasted this into that data sheet. And so I'm going to go onto region because I want to pull the region for it. And from here, I want to, so this is the data sheet that we want to find it in, and so the region that I want to find is in the sub-region. I do recommend drag and dropping what column you want to pull quite close to the country, just because it makes it a bit easier when you're trying to find it if you're in a big data set. So I'm going to just hold onto the top of the I and then drag it over. I'm going to just drag it over just to kind of show you an example, but really I would have only needed to do it up to. And from here, so the column that we want to pull the data, we want this data to be in our new column, is this B column. And this, it works as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I would be 1, B would be 2, C 3, etc. So in here, we're going to put 2, and that's going to pull up what region Austria is in. Once we've done that, we want to put false because we only want exact values. Close that bracket, and there we go. It tells us that it's in Western Europe. Now I'm going to easily just double click that, and it will copy all those down. You will notice now that there may be some errors popping up. This is quite common due to some CSVs having different namings. So if I find, what was it, Czech Republic, I have a feeling that it will, on this one, be called Czechia. I've literally spelled Czech like that, wow. So yeah, Czechia is in the Google one, whereas in our exports and imports, it's still the Czech Republic. So in here, you can go and change that if you want to, so I could just copy and paste that. Oh, I could probably put Czechia actually, because that's the new name of it. And there we go. It changes to Eastern Europe because it's found that, oh, that's the common name. I can pull that value in now. An easy way as well, which actually I will show in a second because I'm going to do that. Once you have the slides, I have put because it took me so long to work out how to actually do VLookup. So I have put a little slide in here on how to do it so you can follow the steps that way as well. Row filtering, perfect, it was the next one. A really easy way to find the NAs is by filtering your data. So I'm going to create a filter, and then here I'm just going to close this find box. So in the region, I want to find NA, so I'm going to clear all the others and just press NA. And here it's showing me all the countries that it couldn't find the regions for. This is most likely just because of it either doesn't have that data or it's a different spelling. So for example, I bet if I put it like that, yeah, perfect, it's found that. So you can kind of go along and just change these. It is a bit tedious. I mean, there might be a much easier way in a different advanced formula, one that I'm not too aware of. So if anybody does know, if you could let me know, that would be great. But yeah, that's just a really, really useful way to kind of find as well. For example, if I wanted to do a story on just Western Europe, I'm just going to clear that one now. I can find the countries within Western Europe and create a visualization on that. Or if I wanted to compare Western Europe to Eastern Europe, I could do that as well. So it's just really easy to kind of narrow down your data because you don't want a data visualization that is overloaded with data unless that's the visualization you're going for. Yeah, perfect. Also, it's a quick way to get to know your data. For example, you can find what data is included in there, what data isn't, if there's missing anything, yeah. And helps to duplicate certain data into different sheets. So for example, I could copy and paste this data now straight, or save it as CSV and just add that into Flourish and visualize it from there. These are other helpful Excel functions which I use quite a lot, and some I found out when researching this today. So, for example, you have the sum, count, and average. These are quite popular ones, so if you do know them already, I do apologise. But sum is really useful, as you can just type in equals because we're starting a function. Open your bracket, and then you can drag that down. So I want to add up, actually, let me just delete that. I want to find them just for, let's go with just Eastern Europe. I just want to find the how much there are in here. So I'm going to go equals sum, open that bracket, and then just select all these data because I want to add the totals for 1997. Close that, and there we go. That is the total sum of those there. Oh, wait. Oh, I think, yeah, it's added all of them from, yeah, I realised what I've done there. 1 second. I will just copy and paste this actually into a new sheet. Yeah, sorry about that. So sum, those, it does sometimes come up with a little, this might be what you want to do, so that can be really useful as well. And just drag those across, and there we go, those are all my sums. You can do this for count as well, so you can do count, and you can do how many numbers are in this one. There's 8. There's 8 values. That can be really useful. If you have a really large data set, you can count how many rows are in something without having to scroll the whole way down to it. What else have we got? And the average as well. You can find the average from a number. So if I type in average, there we go. See, it's automatically just kind of presumed that I want it from this, and maybe yes, I do. And the average is 260.25. I can see it blinking, so oh, perfect. Sorry, I was just double checking that there was any issues with my screen or anything. If statements, I'm not the best with the if statements, but these are really useful because it allows you to see if something is true or false. So for example, if you put if it's over £2,000, it'll if it is, it will say true, or if it's not, it will say false, or either way around. Concatenate, I think I said that right. I can't say many words very well. This will combine your data into one cell. So it's quite similar to the Unpivot option that we have in Flourish, but this will combine, for example, if you have two, so if you have a name, if you have a first name and a last name, you can then use this function and it will bring those two together. Max and min, that's also a really, really useful way to find in a really large data set the max number and the minimum number. Yeah, text to columns, I use this so much, especially when if you get data from GitHub, if you like find a really interesting data on GitHub, you can, so what was I was doing regions actually, so I will find the data of regions and just show you an example of that. Countries, oh, if I could spell, countries with regions CSV. Perfect, I'll use this GitHub one. Yep, so you can go into here and you can go into the raw file, and if you just select all this, copy it, because you can save it as a text file and then convert it that way, but I'm just a copy and paste sort of person. I just always copy and paste everything in. There we go. So I just pasted this as values only, just because I don't want it to kind of like be included here with the format it was originally in. And you are going to go to data in Google Sheets. I believe in Excel it's just text to columns, but yeah. And you're going to go split text to columns, and then I usually have to just move it once and then go back to text automatically. I usually do, and it usually works. It literally just worked. Okay, that's what would happen anyway. Why is it not showing? Maybe not. Oh wait, I know why. Sorry, my bad. I guess I don't know why. Let me just try it once more. It's always one of those things when you come to present, it always seems to go wrong, doesn't it? Oh, we have a lot of chats. Ah, yes, that's right. Thank you, everyone. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. So there you go. It has split them like that. Counter, also if you have a really large data set, it'll identify whether a cell is empty or not. This can help you kind of narrow out the blanks, and if there's null cells, you can be able to be spot out for them. Text A1, this one's kind of extracting a date or month or year from a full date. This can be really useful. You can also do this with split. So that function there, split text to columns, you can also use that function there and it will give you the month and the year. This can be really useful for if you've got an x-axis and you kind of just want to do it by month rather than the whole date. It can be really useful in that way. Sum if, you can, instead of doing the whole sum, you can do it on multiple criteria and just on a certain criteria. Rank, it will do it in a hierarchical order, so it will it will go in either ascending or descending order. Match, it will look for a value that you have typed in an array that you've chosen, and it will return the position where that was found. And the index, it returns a value, and it will return a value from the position that you have provided it. We have some resources as well for you. Here we have the Flourish help docs. These are mainly based on our templates. So we have many different help docs for if you need any quick help on a feature, if you want to kind of enhance your visualizations. The Flourish blog, we have literally today just posted a really fun blog post. 1 second, let me just, oh, I just can't believe I've seen that. There we go. Oh, it's not there. Anyway, we are about to publish a blog post then, I guess. But you can stay informed with all our features and updates on there. The newsletter we send out monthly, and it will just give you the updates and new features that you can be excited for. The FT visual vocabulary, this is really useful if you need to find out what data, so your data, and find out what chart you might need. So those are some examples there. And mapshaper.org, so in here you will be able to edit your GeoJSONs if you want to upload them into the projection map. Yeah. Oh, the last slide isn't on there. So yeah, are there any questions, or would anybody like to see the projection map with the merged data? If you would, just drop that into the chat and I will be able to show you that. I think I'll just show it anyway. So I'm going to go to projection map and I will go onto world. I am going to now save this because we've just imported this in. I'm going to download it as a CSV. There we go, that's come in. And then we have our world projection map. We want to keep these GeoJSONs just as it makes it a lot easier for us. And we want to import our data with, oh, 1 second, I will actually import the sheet data in. Sorry about this, 1 second. I do apologise about my PC keep freezing. It's very, very annoying. One more. Apologies. Oh no. I'm so sorry about this. I think I have it saved already. Okay. There we go. Here's VLookup example. Download CSV. There we go. And then in here, I'm going to delete some of these columns actually. I'm just going to keep this D1 here because I'm going to match that with our data set that we're going to merge. So I'm going to show the example and dragging it in. Merge with current sheet. And I want to match it with this ID just because I know that they're going to be more accurate than the country names, just because of obviously they might have the and symbol rather than and stuff like that. There we go. So it's included the region of the country also, and it does tell you there 31 couldn't be found. So once again, you could look into that and you could scroll and try and find why or where they couldn't find that data and the reasons why. So yeah, that has imported now. And so we can add the value if you want to just show 2019. You can type in IE, and then that will change on the projection map on the regions. There we go. On the projection map, the points use long and lats, but once again, you could merge data in here. I think this is by cities, so yes, but you could put the countries in also. So yeah, the region will be coloured accordingly, and you can edit all the settings within the regions layer there. But yeah, has anybody got any additional questions or anything like that? If not, that is the end of my webinar. I'm sorry that the last slide wasn't on there. I'm not too sure why. It's just resources, I guess. But yes, if anybody has any questions, I'm going to stay around just for a little bit longer, so I will be able to answer those for you. But I hope you enjoyed it today, and we'll be back in 2 weeks with our next session.